Hey there, I want to share with you some of my favorite riffs from my most recent release, actually my first release, called Question Mark. I'm going to be releasing more songs in different styles as the months and years progress. And this one is in the kind of gypsy jazz style, which really resonates with me because I'm part French and part Bohemian. And so I just really like playing it. It's kind of a happy, sad type of style of music. Oftentimes there are minor keys and you play really fast. So it's kind of this weird, sad but happy kind of fun music style. So first let's talk about the guitar. This guitar is kind of modeled after Django's Selmer guitar. It's made by Del Arte. You can see that there. I'm not sure the model number. I'll put it down below so, once I find out what it is. I forget. But basically, it's spruce top, beautiful maple back and sides, and that's important. The guitar is important, but I think personally more important is the pick, and I'm using a Wiegand Gypsy Jazz. It's actually called a Gypsy Jazz pick. I'll put a link below so you can check out their website. I think they're made in France or in Holland. I'm not sure. This one I think is 3.5 millimeters. It's very thick, but I love it. That's what I use for rhythm. Basically the A section. Okay, it's pretty simple. The tempo's 1, 2, 3, 4, up there. Okay, so and my melody, I really wanted kind of an old-timey melody, and also one that I could do a lot of special sauce to, where I could do slides and bends and things like that, and make it a little bit more fun. The melody just centers around an E note. So it's playing an E over the C chord, which makes sense because there's an E in a C chord. And then I play an E over the D7 chord, and that makes it kind of a D9 chord. And then I play an E over the G chord, and that makes it a G13 or G6 chord. But with the 7th, it becomes a 13. And that's the melody. So let me show you a few of my favorite licks from this track that I recorded and released. Okay, the first lick is over this C6 chord, or the C major chord, and it's right after the first statement of the A section. That part. So it's the first, it's kind of an A-A-B-A, so this is in between the first two A's. And so I'm playing over a C chord, and what I did was, okay, and what that is basically, I'm visualizing this triad right here, this C major triad, up at the 8th fret, and then I'm surrounding each one of those notes, sometimes chromatically, sometimes diatonically. So what I'm playing is an F, and then the E, and then the E flat, and then the E. Like that. So that's all chromatic. But then I play A, G, F sharp, G. And then I do the same thing up here on the top string. Okay, and I'm playing the D, C, B, and back to C. So I'm outlining this, but I'm just... And then I'm just playing a descending C major scale. And I end up right back on the E note to begin to restate the melody on the second A section. Okay, let me play that one more time. Vibrato's key too. If you can put some extra vibrato on some of these notes, it's great. And notice the sound of that heavy, heavy Wiegand pick. It just has that bite that you want. Okay, so the next lick I want to show you is in the middle of the second A section. It's when it gets to the D9 chord, and I do this lick that's kind of a sweep, like a heavy metal sweep. I came up with this lick, I think, probably, when I was in high school maybe. But what I'm doing is, if you look at the D9 chord, okay, I'm kind of playing, start on the F sharp, and I'm going A, and then I'm barring the second and third string with my second finger at the 5th fret, and I'm playing those, and then getting the first finger on the 4th fret of the first string, and that, so far here, that's just a pure D9 kind of harmony there. F sharp, A, C, E, and then here I go to the sharp 11th, and here I go to the 13th. But the lick is kind of, it's kind of a mirror of itself. Like, it starts there, and then, so it's kind of easy to find if you find this chord. And then from there I go chromatically. Right to that. Okay, I go back to the melody. So I used it. Okay, so let's do that again. So it's first finger on the 4th string, 4th fret, then pinky on the 7th fret of the 4th string, and then 5th fret, 5th fret, and then 4th fret, and then the 7th fret. And I will have the tabs for this available. Either I'll be selling it on Etsy, or I just may just upload it to my Dropbox and give it away for free. But it actually took me more time to create the tab, the notation, than it did to record the song. So what I'm doing right hand wise, here, let's get a look. You can see where I'm just sweeping, which is a skill all to its own. And I would practice chromatic scales if you want to kind of get some of the gypsy jazz vibe going. Chromatic scales are great to kind of imply that. It just has that, it's a very old-timey sound, kind of romantic sound. And they can be a little difficult to play. You're used to playing 2 notes or 3 notes per string, but to play 4 notes per string is a little bit more difficult. Now the next riff I want to show you is at the end of the 3rd A section, so it goes A, A, B, A, and that's the song form, and then it goes into kind of like solo sections. And so coming out of that, it hits the C chord and lets it ring. And what I did there, again, just to kind of show you how common this the chromatic thing is, and keep in mind, Django Reinhardt only had 2 fingers, so he would do chromatic movements sometimes with just 1 finger. But on this one, what I'm doing is I'm playing the C chord. I'm playing over the C chord, okay? But what I'm kind of trying to hit the weirdest notes I can hit on the way to doing it. So I'm going to the G note, which is the 5th of the C chord. I'm going chromatically to that, then I'm going to go chromatically, but I'm starting on C sharp. Over the C chord, I'm starting on C sharp. But it happens so quickly you don't really even notice it. Like that, and I'm ending on the E note, which is the 3rd of the C chord. And then I'm going to do not quite chromatic. And I'm going to end up on the major 7th of the C chord. But really what I'm thinking there, I'm thinking G7. I'm thinking the 5 chord, okay? So I'm playing G, and I'm playing A, which is would be the 9th of the 5 chord, the flat 3rd of the 5 chord, to B. So I'm really thinking G7, and then I'm just going to outline kind of a diminished thing, but also really what these notes are. And And I'll tell you about how I kind of came up with some of these licks. So I'm playing G, A, B flat, B, D, which is the 5th, F, which is the flat 7, then A flat, which is the flat 9, then A sharp, which is the sharp 9, and then right there to the G note, which is the 5 of the C chord. Okay? And I actually did a little, like, kind of a triplet there to kind of slow it down, just so it just is even more dramatic. And part of that was because, to be honest, I wanted those notes, but I wanted them to land. I wanted to land on the downbeat. There on that A flat. So I had a little bit of drama over the C chord. Okay. All right, so again, slowly it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 at the 5th to the 8th fret on the 2nd string. And then the same thing down 1 string and over 1 fret. So 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I'm going to go back down to the 5th fret, 7th fret, 8th fret, 9th fret, and these are all on the 4th string. And then I'm going to go 7th fret on the 3rd string, 6th fret on the 2nd string. I'm going to go to the 9th fret of the 2nd string, 6th fret of the 1st string, and then I'm going to end up on the 8th fret. 8th fret of the 2nd string on the G note. Okay, so now I'm going to delve into some of the licks from the solo, because that lick that we just did gets us into the solo section. And the solo section is the same chord progression, the same song form as the song itself. And that's not unusual in a jazz piece. And what I did, when I wrote the melody, I actually was very, it just came to me. And it was one of those things where I thought I had plagiarized it, and I sent the song to a lot of people, particularly people, friends of mine that know music and know old music, and they all said, no, it sounds original to us. So that was cool. It was just such a immediately familiar melody to me. I just assumed I was taking it from somewhere. But when I got to the soloing section, what I typically do with these kind of songs is I will record the solo section and improvise over it, kind of just make stuff up, maybe have the chords in front of me, but it's even better if you don't have to think about the chords, just think about making music. And I probably played it 10 to 20 times, and we do what's called comping, okay? And I record it, they just stack on top of each other, and then I go through and I pick out the best licks of each section. So then what I did was you comp that, you blend it all together, and then I wrote out a chart for it. So I actually wrote out a chart for my improvised sections that I kind of pieced together, and then I played that live. So the solo that you hear on the recording is actually one take. But it's made up of a bunch of little takes. So technically, the solo was improvised in sections, but it was very consciously composed of improvised sections. Okay? One of the things that, when you've got a solo over a longer piece of music, one of the things that you want to do is you want to try to do kind of a theme and variations. You don't want to just be playing scales the whole time. You want to try to come up with some kind of idea that you can, for lack of a better term, milk. And that's kind of what I did in this next lick that I want to show you. Okay, so the next lick I want to show you is a lick that's kind of a theme and variations that goes against the C chord, the D chord, and then ultimately the G chord, okay? And it basically is, these are just arpeggios that kind of outline the chord tones. One of the things I did, particularly on the first phrase, is I didn't start on the downbeat. Too often when we're soloing, and I'm very guilty of this, too often we start all of our phrases on the downbeat. So I intentionally moved it over one beat, and keep in mind the tempo is pretty fast. So it'll sound like it's on the and of the beat, but it's really going to be on a very quick beat too. And what I did over the C chord, oops, and so I just did the same lick twice. And what I'm doing there is I'm starting on the G note, hammering on the A, which is the 6th, and back to G. And I'm just going down the triad. So I'm going G, A, G, E, C, and then back down to A. So I'm kind of playing an A, you can think of it as an A minor 7 arpeggio, but really I'm thinking C6. But I'm ending on an A note. And that's, let me just take a side note here. That's one of the kind of tricks to get that gypsy jazz sound. Over major chords, you really want to hit those 6ths and those 9ths. They just sound very, they sound very gypsy. I don't know why. And over minor chords, if we were playing over C minor, we would also play the 6 and the 9. But we'd also hit the major 7th. Okay, but we're playing over a C6 right here, and I'm playing 5, 6, 5, 3, 1, 6. And then it goes to the D chord, and I just changed the starting note of the hammer on. Instead of starting on G, I'm going to start on F sharp. So it's the same lick, except I move one note from G to F sharp. And those chord tones over the D7 or the D9 chord is the 3rd, 5th, 3rd, 9th, 7th, and then 5th. Sorry, 3rd, 5th, 3rd, 9th or 2nd, but 9th is what I'm thinking. 7th, and then the 5th again. Okay, and this one I do start on the downbeat. So the first one is 1. Okay, and part of the reason why I started the next phrase on 1 was to give it a kind of rushed, hurried feel. And so and also the other thing is I wanted to change more than just that first note of the lick. I wanted to change the timing of the lick. And then I go down to the 6th fret. And that's the end of that phrase. And that 3rd lick is over the G7. And what I'm playing is the 7th, the root, so F and G, and back to F, D, which is the 5th, B, which is the 3rd, and G, which is the root. Okay, so I'm really just kind of playing a G7 arpeggio. But putting that hammer on with a triplet feel makes it a lot more fun. And sounds flashier too. I'm going to show you, this is the first lick we've done of all of these that is going to be over the B section. And the B section is kind of A7 to D minor. Okay, so we're bringing the minor element of gypsy jazz into the song now. And this is definitely one of the licks that I improvised, and it's just kind of laid in really nice. So I kept it in the compositional improvisation, the planned the programmed spontaneity, I say. So basically what I'm doing here is a kind of it's over A7 to the D minor. Sorry, I gotta make sure I get you in there. Okay, there we go. And I'm kind of doing an A7 flat 9 lick, like that. So I'm playing C sharp, basically 5th fret, I'm sorry, 4th fret on the 5th string, 2nd fret of the 4th string, 5th fret of the 4th string, 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and then hammer on that 3rd fret. And I'm starting on the and of 1. So it's not on, again, I'm avoiding the downbeat here. And I'm going back down, after I do the hammer on the A to B flat, which is the root to the flat 9, to the root, I go to the 7th, or flat 7th, which is G, and then to the E. And then I kind of just play a D minor, like that, D minor arpeggio, or D minor scale, but add that chromatic note there. And I really like the sound of that. I may have slid into that last note too. Like something like that to give it a little bit more special sauce. I think it's what I did after that. Okay, now back into the A section. It goes back into the A section, and I do this kind of to the D chord. I just really like that. It was very happy, and I'm just kind of playing off of major chords again. So I'm playing over the D7 or the D9 chord. I'm playing. Okay, and all that is I'm just really playing kind of, it's a G major, or I'm thinking maybe more D mixolydian, which is the same, is relative and enharmonic with G major. They have the same notes. So I'm going 10th fret on the 2nd string, 8, 5, or 10, 8, 7. I do that 3 times, like Figaro, Figaro. And then I'm going to work my way up like that. So I'm just going to go up and down the scale. And then I'm going to go back up to B. So again, the 10, 8, 10, 8, 7, 8, 10, 7, 8, 7, 10, 8, and then back up to top string 7th fret. And then I'm just basically visualizing a G triad right here. See the little G triad right here. Okay? I'm playing the G note twice, and I go down to the D. E, D, E, G, G, D. And then I do kind of it sounds really flashy, but it's basically, it's just a G major triad. So or actually I start on the G note. So I'm going, I'm on the 8th fret, 7, 10, 7, 8, 10, I'm sorry, 7, and then 9, which is the, if you visualize kind of this shape, the C form, you can kind of get, so that, and the picking is going to be sweep-like too. So when I'm descending up, I'm kind of picking up every time after the pull up. Okay? And I do the same thing. The next lick is down here at the bottom, is down here. So I just do another G major, a G triad. I'm going 3, 7, 5, 5, 4, 7. And then that leads really nicely to the 5th fret, which is the C note. Okay, we're almost to the end. There's one lick that I do that's really flashy, kind of fast, and it's another one of those licks that I've had under my belt for a long time, and I'm visualizing just the C major bar chord here at the 8th fret, and I'm just playing a C major scale like this, like a 3-per, but I'm going to add that chromatic note in there, the E flat, before I go to the E, so that I can start on beat 3 and on beat 1. So this is 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1. And this might have been one that I had to punch in on. And I'm just pure up down picking, but about as light a touch as you can get. Otherwise, if you dig in too hard, it's going to slow you down. Okay, that lick I like a lot. All right. Okay, now I'm going to show you the very last lick. It's a little goofy. I don't know if I really like it now that it's all said and done. I might not have done it if I had it to do over again. But I wanted something that was going to sound kind of like something that you could play with 1 finger or 2 fingers, a la Django. And he would do these open strings every now and then. But what I'm doing is I'm playing a chromatic scale on the 3rd string, starting at C at the 17th fret. I'm going 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, and in between every one of those, I'm hitting the open G string. Like that, and then hitting it again, and then I'm sliding 11 to 12, and then ending up at the C note here on the 2nd string, 13th fret. And musically, there's not really. You got that G string grounding. You can kind of think of it as being maybe over a G7 chord, but there's no chord there. It's just a held chord C note. And it just sounded kind of flashy, so I thought it was perfect for the style. And it could be played easily with 2 fingers. So clearly, this is a video I'm doing more for me than for you. I just really enjoyed working on this song, and I just thought you might be interested in hearing about how it came about, how I thought about some of the phrases. One of the best comments I ever got was that I don't teach music, I teach how to make music. And that's kind of what I wanted to do in this video. Teach you how I'm thinking about certain things, whether it be how to play over a certain chord, or even thematically, or even how I construct a solo. And these are all things that I'm happy to share. I love sharing them. It's part of the joy of doing this, and part of the joy of being on YouTube and doing this. So thank you so much. Please subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification button, because I won't be doing a lot of videos, maybe 1 live stream a week and 1 video drop a week, so you won't be getting a lot of notifications. So if you turn it on, I won't bug you. I'll try not to anyway. And I've got more videos coming. I've got another song coming out soon, and when that one comes out, I'll definitely do a how-to on that one, but that one's going to be pretty crazy. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and God bless you. Take care, and be safe.